Bom dia, good morning. Welcome to the Innovations for the Future Crowd Circle. My proposal is for us to go in a quick check-in. I start. I'm glad to be here after these 2 Fridays that I was in trainings, and I really enjoy listening the recording that you guys made in the last Friday, and how diverse was the conversation. It was really amazing to see that this abundance and diversity is present in this field, in these innovations for the future field. I have the fear of that we are taking, like, we are touching different parts of the field, and I'm not sure where is coming alive. And I'm okay being with that, but my fear is noticing that. And also I have received some feedbacks about maybe this time, Friday at this hour is not the best time for some people, or for a lot of people. No, I'm with that in my field also, that the information that is coming around. And I'm glad because I'm receiving feedbacks about the recordings, and the fact that recordings are available allow people to also listen and in a way be part of the circle. Yeah, and that's me arriving. I'm really glad to be in this constellation with you, Rob, Nitzan, and Thierry. That's me arriving, and I pass to Nitzan.
Thank you, Marco. First, I'm very grateful to be here after a while. I've been in different circles, but not in this one. So it's really make me happy to come back and to kind of connect. What is alive in me is sadness and anger and frustration. And also a lot of like love and support and connectedness that I feel. Yeah, like meeting new people in my life in the last few weeks that really bring a lot of clarity and joy to my life, and it really supports. And I'm also learning like to work with the anger in me and kind of to direct it to a place of manifestation and yeah, and clarity. And I'm passing to Thierry.
Thank you, Nitzan.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm just as both of you also said, I'm happy to be in the circle. It really feels inspiring and nurturing. Although I also agree we don't know exactly what we're doing yet. But maybe that's also what I feel in my body. On one level is inspiration, but also a knot in my stomach. So it's and I can see also in the bigger picture, it's early days, but I felt pulled forward by the, I don't know, by the universe or by my intuition. And not really knowing what to, yeah, because it's everywhere. Basically, I think we're in kind of systemic change in society. So of course, it's happening everywhere. And as Marco also said, you know, I'm okay with that because I think it's part of our work. So keep breathing and just sitting with the Buddha, sometimes drumming to get rid of your anger, and keep going. So thank you. I'll pass it on to Rob.
Thank you, Thierry.
Thank you. I can relate to some of those feelings that Nitzan was talking about related to this project here. It's very frustrating, been very frustrating. But yeah, I accept it that I don't have to go very far to find the problems that exist everywhere on the macro and the micro. So while having this call, I'm not anticipating that I can walk out of this situation and try to make something good in the world. I have to be here and do that. So yeah, well, what else? I think that's it really. I feel quite good this morning. Interested to see what comes from this call. For me, it's more just about connecting with people who I consider to be community leaders in some way. Thinkers, people are looking for, not looking, listening to something of the bigger picture. That's me, Marco.
Thank you, Rob. Yes. This circle, the intention for this kind of circles is to connect us, to start a conversation with the, like Rob said, with the beats, what is happening in each place. We can start seeing a big picture and maybe design completely different things that connect us or solve some problems or whatever is in the field. And I'm noticing the conversations. In the conversations, I'm noting that at least 3 big themes came to the table. The first one, maybe the most danger in my perspective, is this sense of I'm alone. I'm alone. I don't know others. I'm not connected with others and I'm alone. And that is one of the big motivations for innovations for the future appear in the table, saying, guys, now we are not alone. It seems like we are alone, but when we look around, we are more than 2,000, 1,000 or 2,000 people that are building something around this, what could be next cultures, or it doesn't matter the name. The next, what is happening for the next thing or the evolution of the actual context. And that is one of the things that I'm noticing. And I'm also glad to start noticing that in the last 2 years, people are really came together in different arenas. I interview Joana Ivonia from Aveiro. She's building a project around the promotion of the bikes in the city. And they are meeting all these movements around Portugal, around the mobility in bikes are meeting for the first time in this years. And that is amazing. It's already starting. The movement of people coming together and really start this kind of conversation is happening. And one of the things that I was really touched with the sharing of Joana was that they start with bikes, mobility in bikes, and suddenly they handed it the local development community and economics and all that stuff. You push from one side and all the things came with you, all the stuff came with you. Today it's impossible to work with just one thing. We touch in all the arenas of life and what it means to be alive as a human in this context. And that is a very interesting thing that I notice is happening and it's on the table. The second thing, it's around the issue of money, what it means to have money, what it means to have access to money, what it means to be funding, and how the funding can be, like one of the things that people talk about a lot is the structure of the funds are not designed for this kind of complex projects. Like we touch in so many different areas and the funds usually cover 1 or 2. And that is a pain in the ass. And also there is this lack of conscience in the way money is being applied by funders or by funds or by whatever. It's on the table. And I was really touched by listening you talking about what could be a possibility for bringing the value, the money on the table as a resource, not as a dictatorship or a model for whatever. No, the model for whatever is life. It's not money. Money is something for us to have on the table. And it was touching to listen from you from the last circle. And the last trend or the last issue that I'm seeing, and I think it's one that is very near to the heart of Rob, there is this need of people coming together and really find ways of starting making decisions without pyramids and be in a circle and use the circle as a structure for people to meet each other and to start doing stuff. And in João Semedo, we started that work more or less 10 years ago and in Portugal. And we are seeing that people are asking for that again. People are asking for, we want to know what is a circle and want to be a circle, what is open space and what can we do in open space, what is worth of hosting and what could we do with that. These kind of questions are on the table, like Nitzan some months ago talked about that in Idanha. They want to have some people that could support this kind of stuff there. And I'm seeing that trend also. Okay, the places and the communities, the local communities are starting to make this kind of request. How can we, as a whole, start to serving this, start to putting this on the table? Because people doesn't know that we already have this in the circle, that there is people like you, Rob, and people like David Aveiro, and people like Artur and others that has these amazing skills and that has been working in this for their lives. And I'm seeing that as a trend that is also not happening for. And that is what is coming to me through my lens, so through interviewing and had these conversations. And I'd like to put that on the middle of the center and see where is the life in you when you listen to that.
If I may speak, this is exactly how I feel. I couldn't put it in another way, really. I remember many, many years ago, there used to be these predictions about the second coming, meaning Jesus would reappear or something like this. But Jesus was not going to reappear because according to, I can't remember where this information came from, but it was like, no, everybody is going to become the awoken or something. Some of these kind of spiritual words. It's not one person; it'll be everybody. And so, yeah, that's an interesting idea. I kind of like that. And some people thought about it, ascension and all this sort of stuff. What I found with counsel is that everybody counts. Everybody has wisdom. The 9-year-old girl, the old man, the nurse, the priest, all these roles and ages and genders and ideas of things have parts of the circle. And in the circle form, when that moment comes for that person to speak, the talking piece arrives there or they take it, that's the center of the village, and that's the moment that we all are present. And that's the wisdom of the moment. And so everybody has that opportunity. So there are some ways, of course, to learn, that we learn together about how to be with that kind of conversation, that kind of listening and that kind of creativity. It's a re-education, and that's the work I see. If you can get people into that circle and to be in that field, pretty much the work's done, because that field will know what to do and how to do it. But to get people there, that's my work, how to reintroduce it. And with this modern day, where we have this fusion of internet and online stuff, it's a bit of a challenge, because one comes from a different world than the other. One is a world of presence and connection, and the other is a virtual span across some space and time. But both can be accessible to the heart. That has been proven for me. As I experience heart connection over this way, but it's a lot more less tangible and less immediate and less information, in fact. So it takes longer to develop relationships. I'm talking too long, so I just say that touched me very much, Marco. I'm very, very with this vision, and I'm very glad, as you say, that we are not alone, because I'm not the only one who's got this idea that, or something similar. So I want to meet the people who are with these ideas, so, and we can get together and listen to each other. That's the work. Hope.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Rob. I can share also some reflections and thoughts about it. First, yes, I'm saying that like a sentence that that I'm not alone, like for a long time, and trying to also work with this essence with people that I meet, so we can see each other better, and we can support each other in the local area, at least in the circles that are more immediate, and also in the I4F as a movement and as a way, as a network to connect, you know, in the wider sense. And yeah, and I'm taking it also to maybe a different level, or a deeper level for me, that I'm going out and meeting the trees and the water and the animals that are there, and I get this essence that I'm not alone from that as well, not only from working with more people, but from really being in nature and kind of walk the walk and practicing it, like practice this, like meditation walks that I'm doing in the sunrise together with my dog, really help me and support me in a personal level. And whoever want to join, I'm open, like people that are coming here as visitors or as long-term volunteers, or whoever is coming here to the farm, to Spirala, I'm really willing to engage in that level and to try to harness those practices that I see that supports me, and to give it as an offer to other people that have the capacity to wake up earlier than they used to and go out and meet nature and get some support from that. And it's simple and it's subtle and it's very alive. And once people experience it, I get like really amazing feedbacks from that, and I feel this connection and connectedness between the people once there is this openness towards the unknown and towards what nature brings us in the raw feelings that are alive and comes from that. So this is one aspect that I wanted to reflect on. And another one is that I see that in a group work and in this regenerative wishes that we have, there is a lot of, it's like a dance between the belief system that we want to adopt and to create, like this re-education that we want to bring to our lives, and to really implement things that are more regenerative and change a paradigm. And in the other sense, there is a lot of regression once there is a feeling of lack and fear come to the table, then people very fast go to the pyramid paradigm and to the more like, let's say, like capitalistic way of thinking, that we need to like focus on the income and put aside like the hard work and the connectionness and like the values that we hold, or we need to put it in less priorities because it's not so profitable. Like this way of thinking, in my feeling, like really shrink the possibility to really change the culture and to really change the paradigm. But I'm also in that, so like it does influence me as well, like looking for the profit or looking for a way of income and seeing how it can very fast like erode my my values or my deep belief of like of what is right, what is yeah. So this is me for now.
Thank you, Nitzan. I have a question. You are one of the leaders in the sense that you go first in Idanha-a-Nova, and you put together a Telegram group and connect a lot of people. I don't know, the group maybe have about 200 people in that area, Idanha-a-Nova and Penamacor and a little bit around. And you are one of the persons that brought me that subject of how to be in this collaborative and participatory technology, socio-technology, like the circle, like the art of hosting, like open space. Can you share a little bit more about what is your experience in the Idanha-a-Nova thing? What is happening there? What do you think and feel about this participatory and social techniques that you need? Can you share more about that?
Yes. So last year we had the first event that we created for the I4F in this region. The 3 days that gather people with this mindset voluntarily to host something or to share their needs or to share their abilities and to connect and to create this network much more solid. And we created like a database of numbers of people and like the telephone number, and we created this Telegram group for the purpose of supporting each other and helping each other with the tool that will support it, like the technologies tool that can support it. And it was in the beginning like about 70 people in the group, and today, a year and 2 months after, we are like 250 almost people in the group. And in the same time, more people arrived to the area, and there is the school program is going on, the International School of Klonlara that we are establishing here in Idanha-a-Nova. There is many impacts. There is the Million Trees Association that working also in the sense of instead of being centralized and like organization that have all the budget and all the trees and need to do the service by themselves, they try to separate it to like small quantities to have as much trees planted as possible. That is local trees that people can take responsibility on. And then it's like also creating this, it's an example for me like of what is happening here. Because it's yeah, like private people that have a small initiative or a bigger initiative that offer this possibility to connect through planting trees. For example, so also in this season there were only five times of community planting day events in different farms. The first one actually was here, that 20 people arrived, and we planted about 70 trees, and we also put seeds in the ground in different places that are also, it's also like an experiment and like a learning process by itself to see along the years what places in the lands are more fertile for those trees to survive, and how we can raise the ratio of the trees planting to be to grow, and then to share this knowledge in the community, make the whole community rise and more resilient in that matter, to understand not only about planting the trees fast or in big quantities, but also to understand the techniques involved in that we can learn and share those points of views and understanding. So yeah, this is like an example of what is going on.
Thank you, Nitzan. Do you see, now let me see. Do you see that could be of value that like Rob could go and do a training in the way of circle there in Idanha? in this moment, saying in the next months, that could be a thing that will worthy and be value of for the community right now?
Yes, it can definitely generate like a mutual language, I would say, that it's needed for those processes to evolve and to become more solid, to have some sort of commitment in a process of a group, of a council, for example. Something that also Ivan mentioned a few times in the past, that it would be beneficial, like to have this kind of a council that people can go in and out from, but there is like a group of people that are committed for some time to make those glues and to make those bridges between the local Portuguese community, for example, and municipalities and the people in the field, yeah, and different layers of this wider community that is evolving here, that it's much more than 200 people. Yeah, it's like a couple of thousands of people that living like that and speaking this kind of language of regenerative lifestyle that they wish for, and more sustainability and more heartfulness and mindfulness in their life, and the way of education is changing. So in many layers, there is a big movement is happening, and everybody's like planting fruit trees. And I can definitely see how in 10 years from now, the abundance of fruits in this area will be so big, and it already is huge. Like fruits are falling on the ground, literally, and people cannot take all of them. And this is, for me, it's an essence of like a base to create a paradise, that we want to be part of. That the abundance is already here, and we can harness it, and we can be part of that, doing the social work that it's needed, or we can do it without awareness, with less mindful behaviors, and kind of disturb that and disrupt that between us as human beings first, and then all the outcomes that we know that are happening from that. So it's like a junction. It's like a dance in this community that it have the potential to go both ways, because of the freedom that there is in this area. So yeah, so I definitely see a potential that a group of people with the intention to learn a skill and a language, a mutual language, that can help to support in the wider sense. Yeah, definitely.
Thank you, Nitzan. Are you willing to have a conversation with Rob around that after our conversation, and arrange a conversation to see if that's possible, to arrange that?
Yes, okay. I would love to. Yeah.
Okay, thank
you. And there are also, I would do mention that there is in the area people that work with the World Cafe and the art of hosting and different and dragon dreaming. So there are techniques in this region that are already implemented in some occasions, but not as something that is continuous, and it's something that is evolving as a circle, as a more committed circle. So maybe, yeah, I can see the potential of like more focusing on that as an intention, and see what comes up from that. Definitely.
Okay, thank you.
Just one clarifying question. Focusing on that, Nitzan, you said focusing on that. Could you put that in one sentence? What do you mean focusing on that? So I can just make a note.
Yes, sorry.
Oh.
Focusing on the benefit of having a mutual language and commitment to a process.
Focusing on the benefit of having a mutual language and
commitment
process.
For a process. Yeah.
And commitment for a process.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thierry, what is alive in you?
Yeah, I'm just feeling how I fit in this in the whole picture. Last week when I was sitting with Rob, in the end I think we came to the conclusion. Correct me if I'm wrong, that we felt kind of the urge to invite community leaders and from diverse backgrounds. I mean, we have diverse backgrounds, and to get to some kind of a meeting next year. We see it's kind of early days. What I realized afterwards, also following up to this, okay, how do you connect? How do you communicate? That one of the best things I found is this ULab program. And funny enough, I was now invited to just sign up for the next program in the beginning of next year. And what I've seen there also in practice when I was still in the Netherlands, that it uses basically the same kind of holding space as dialogue and circle, but somehow they found their own language around it, which makes it sometimes a little bit more accessible for people coming out of the mainstream. So I think in that sense it will be helpful. It's all online, so that's also helpful. And also following up on like Marco's observations, you say, okay, there are about a few thousand people like us in Portugal. I think they're much more. Research already years ago, maybe you heard of the cultural creatives. It's a research originally in the US, but then they also expanded it to Europe. They estimate like 15-20% of the population in countries like here that are aware of what's happening, and they're meditators, they're vegetarian, they care about nature, and a lot of them you don't even see them. They're just sitting somewhere in a more mainstream environment. I know some of them, for instance, with the Dutch community. And I was actually surprised the first time I got in there. The community leader, she's vegetarian, and she knows all about it. And they still have to do their work in the old world, so to speak, because they need the money, and they're not people like us, where like the old thing just collapsed and we just move into something new. But I think we also need them because they can connect with also sources, and I think it's gonna be easier to get then also finances than from the sources like European Union, because what I see happening there is that they're at the moment in a very technocratic top-down approach where they want to go. I've seen before, a decade ago, that they had a subsidy from the national government in the Netherlands. I mean, it was basically a disaster. Why? Because you have some kind of desk, you don't even talk to a person, you have to apply with like 50 pages document to get some money, and then you're just locked into a program, and if you change anything, somebody that always freaks out, and they threaten to withdraw part of the subsidy. So to make a long story short, I think it will come much more organic, but for that we need to connect on a larger scale. And somehow, and that's probably also part of my frustration at the moment, in my mind I see the possibilities, I see also things slowly happening, but it's just as what happened last week with Rob. You have an appointment, but it takes a bit of effort to really see each other. I mean, he got the wrong phone number. And so it took a bit of time. And I feel very much that we're at that time. So for me, the focus of effort will be to get these people from these different communities together. It doesn't have to be huge numbers, but I think that will definitely help to get the tipping point happening.
Thank you, Thierry. There is several things that are popping up. One of the things, it's why for me it's important, or was and is important, the circle, and to be in a circle. Like it's like Rob said, whatever you want to create, if you already are in a circle, listening with the heart and speaking with the heart, like the way of counsel putting in a field, the magic will start. We don't need to do nothing. It's just that the intelligence is there, and it will start popping up. And foregoing that, because I have been with a lot of people, and Rob more for sure, I have been in a lot of people that they sit in the circle, but they don't live in a circle. Meaning that they go in a circle for their spiritual whatever, or that sense of contribution, but the way they live the everyday life, it's not in a circle. They are not in a circle with the husband or the wife. They are not in a circle with the children. They are not in a circle with the people that they work. And for me, that is the main thing. We need to, the way we operate as a collective need to shift from that perspective that someone will do something for I will do something. And that shift happens in the circle, like in each share a leader, in each place a leader. That for me, it's what's really embedded in that structure of the circle. It's this thing that for me, it's the paradigm shifting. And it's why it's so important to have people experience and living circles, because all that I know that come on the top of that comes on in the circle. Like you Thierry, it's not possible to do ULab and all that stuff without that culture of being in a circle. And I'm noticing that. I'm working with you Thierry from the last 10 years, and I'm seeing what works and what didn't work. One of the things is that people don't commit themselves. They have the will to be in circle, but they live in the pyramid, and they do their life in the pyramid, and the circle is not in that life. And for me, it's the challenge by themselves. And when I see like something that is happening in Idanha, that people are really getting together, and they are starting to do stuff together with a different scale, and they ask for this. They ask, what can you bring? What is the things for us to make decisions? Like be in a circle, use sociocracy, it doesn't matter. What is the thing for us? That for me, it's the soil, it's getting ready. And we already know that. Or to do that, or to support that. It doesn't mean that me, Rob, or others have to go to Idanha to do something, but we can nurture what is happening in Idanha. And for me, it's that. How can we nurture each other with this sense of being together? But of course, I live in Lisbon, I don't live in Idanha. Nitzan lives in Idanha. How can we do that? Yeah, that is one of the things that is popping up here. And because with these 10 years, yes, we spread a lot this way of being in life and see life and organize the stuff and stuff. And there is a moment like someone in a conversation like this, in a circle like this, someone point me this distinction that I'm living in the edge of the modern culture, of the edge, and you have people that are now in the edge of what modern culture tolerates, and people that are in the mainstream, and we are all needed. and we need to have responses for all these people that are in different contexts. And I could say, yeah, okay, for me, I have been in a circle since, I don't know how long. But that doesn't matter, because there are people now that are asking for that are asking for, I want to change, I want to live from this point to this point. And how can we, as a collective, serve this? My interest is to be on the edge of the edge and explore that. But I already know that I'm a bridge for the others. How can I do that? How can I be on service of that being a bridge for the others? In the places that I have done for myself, not in the others. In the others, I have to do it the way again. And that is one of the things that is missing for me in this context, is this really this bridging in context, this bridging with experience, with the wisdom of walking the path. Like, I experiment, I did that, I failed, I did that with others, and this kind of stuff. And the other thing, I'm really afraid of the thing of the money from Union European and the government of that. I'm really afraid. I don't know what is happening for the last year and a half, because we are listening that so many money is coming, so many, but it's not coming, it's not there yet. We don't know the rules, we don't know whatever. And I don't know what is happening. And for me, it's more about what can we do together? What can we do together? Like stuff like Nuno is doing with Go Parity, that is finding ways of using our collective money and not money from whatever. Like for me, it's this. Paulo is also working, Paulo Carvalho of Value Flow is also working in that dimension. How can we start doing the things by ourselves and using our resource and our wisdom and our connections and putting the instruments on the table? And yes, if the money from Europe and whatever comes, we could be ready to do something with that, but not in the opposite way, not waiting for whatever, because that will be a prison, will be more of the same. And I'm really afraid of that. And I'm seeing that in spaces. And there is also a thing about this ULab is, I don't know if Maria Danielle was here, maybe she could help us more with that. That what I'm noticing, and I experiment with that in different contexts, in several places, in ISEG and in other places. And when we don't have a strong hub, a strong local community for anchor that program results in vaporware. It stay on the neosphere. It doesn't land in a place. It doesn't land in the context. And I experience in myself, and I also support others doing that. There was a lot of failing in that application, and I'm very afraid of going forward again without having this local, very well established circles, people that are committed to bring something to that place. Because when that is not in the field, that the thing doesn't happen. And I want to be clear when I say that there is about 1,000, 2,000 people, I'm talking about game world builders, people that are really building something. Because yes, there is more, and there is a lot of people that are in mixed context, but the numbers that I'm giving, it's people that they already start building something, that they are doing something in their communities for several years. Maybe some are beginning now, but the ones that I'm talking about is this kind of people. Why for me it's important that's people, but they have a really strong will operating in the field, in the local places. They already make the change, whatever was the change they need to make, and they put something working, and they are experimenting with that something. And maybe that something could be an eco village, maybe that something could be a rewilding project, maybe that something could be an agroforest. It doesn't matter, but they put something in the field, and they are experimenting with fighting with the edge of modern culture. They are trying to go forward from the edge. That is the kind of experience and people that I'm looking for, and that I want to bring them to the table and start these conversations, because they have that wisdom. They saw the wall of modern culture, and they, in a way, they try to pass through and design something beyond that wall. Yeah, it's what's come alive when I hear you. Oh, talk. It's come alive in me.
Yeah. What I feel in myself, and I pick it also up a little bit with you, Marco, is that you know, we all had our experiences, and there have been, of course, some disappointments. That's still a bit. We're still looking a bit in the rear view mirror, so to speak, and I'm wondering if that could be helpful also in some way. I'm doing my work on it on a daily basis to clean that if I run into it. But if that could be something also we could use also collectively to get deeper. I don't know if it's kind of a clearing process or just open-hearted. I mean, I'm really glad that we all share these kind of things. Because I think somehow, you know, it's kind of being humble and really being able to bow down that makes you a powerful leader, and not just being proud of all your successes. I mean, it was really beautiful to see your website, Marco, where you also shared the things that were not working. And I know, for instance, with Margaret, the chair lady from the Dutch community, you know, last year she asked me to help her because, you know, she started this project with a holistic health center, and some stage she got in trouble by the local authorities. She got a lawsuit, and the government threatened to take her house and everything. So I know with her, she also ran in trouble, and still, you know, that stuff. It's kind of polishing this inner diamond, and it makes us more powerful in the end. But at the same time, you have to go through the shit before you can end up in the next chapter in your book.
Thank you, Thierry. We have more 5 minutes. I propose that this was our last round to the circle. I'm seeing your hand, Nitzan. Let's go and we do a last round in this 5 minutes to close the circle. Nitzan.
Thank you. So you asked about how, Marco, you mentioned before how to be a service for this kind of communities in the, like, for example, Idanha-a-Nova. I think there is a lot of sensitivity needed in this process when someone is wanting to offer something from outside, especially from the center, like geographically. I would say that it would be wise and needed to come with a lot of sensitivity and a lot of openness to the wisdom that is already here, and to work with that more than to bring something from outside that kind of we are lacking, kind of to harness what is there and just to make it more alive. I think this will be the way that an external help we can get. This is in that sense. And another thing came to my mind that it's about the financial issues and development, to try and think out of the box to create services and products that are working in the same framework of the capitalistic world, but really bring something authentic and real and honest and regenerative, and kind of make a proof that it's not this or that it's not that we must, you know, kind of put our values aside if we want to generate money or other way of resource. and then to become really sustainable in that matter. So this is what's alive in me, and I'm really grateful for this circle. Thank you.
Thank you. Choose someone to pass, Nitzan.
Rob.
I think I'm a little overflowing with inspiration. Thank you so much for those words, Nitzan. I totally would support that. In the work of council, I've been very well drilled, let's say, by my mentors, that I don't go to save or to tell you how to do stuff. It's an exchange in a good way, but there are cultural sensitivities that can be met. And yeah, so what I heard today was a lot of questions, particularly from Marco, very clear questions. This is my question. I'm also generating a question here through what I was hearing, which was identifying what it is that keeps people together and committed. And that's what I'm interested in, because there was running a project here just one time. For one day, the elders were invited from the village to share stories and of their life here, how it was 60, 50, 40, 30 years ago, 70 years ago. And then there was a visioning or dreaming as part of the day. What I took from that was that the commitment one had to live with people who were sometimes difficult, sometimes in disagreement. What kept people committed was the fact that they were interdependent or codependent or dependent, whatever level the person's consciousness was able to deal with, for their resources and their lives. They couldn't just, oh, well, I've had enough of you, I can just go and live over there. Or I've had enough of Alentejo, or I'll go and live in Lisbon, or I'll go and live in Belgium. People didn't have the resources to do that. So they had to deal with the difficult neighbor next door. So that kind of commitment created community, and that's a fabric. So my question is, what substitutes that kind of commitment that keeps people in place? Because in the modern world, we have so many resources, we can do such. I mean, I'm talking about the privileged us, and there are plenty of people who are not, and who are woven in, who cannot move around as they choose. But what keeps people committed? So I'm interested in those stories, and I would like to offer that maybe one next time, or another time, I'd like to do a council with this group and just do a little work with the council in terms of what are the questions we have, and what are the stories that come by listening to those questions. And then we see through the council process what wisdom might come from that. So I'd like to offer that. Thierry?
Thanks, beautiful. Yeah, what I feel at the moment is I feel heart connection, and at the same time, before this, I proposed kind of a next step with signing up for this ULEF program, and I don't feel kind of the resonance for that, which basically means I don't know for myself the next step, which makes me kind of vulnerable. And I totally resonate with Rob. You know, I'm not running away to some kind of other circle, because somehow I feel this kind of inner calling, soul mission, and I feel resonance with you guys. So it simply means that probably for the Christmas period, I will sit with not knowing what's next. I've been there before, so I'm gonna enjoy that.
Thank you, Thierry. We are 1 minute after. Thank you all. I'm feeling glad with this circle, and I really enjoy your gift, Rob, and I have a yes for that. I also want to report to the circle that I checked with the guys in Rebuild, and they are planning to meet in Tamera in next April, and that could be a very good date for also for us to do something. They already put me in the organization group to follow what they are doing and the work, and I will report to the circle here. This for that gathering that you, Thierry, and also others speak in the circle. And I'm really glad with this possibility of collaboration between Rob and Nitzan, and between this possibility. And also I encourage you, Thierry, if you are feeling that impulse, to talk with Nitzan, because they have a strong community there, and if they have the will of anchor ULab there, that could work. That's really could work there. And please have a conversation with Nitzan and see if someone else is interested in holding the space and going with it. I'm really interested in that kind of work and supporting that. And thank you all for this really touching conversation for me.
Thank you, but I just also want to say that the link I put in the chat, it says October 20th, but I've just checked. The latest email also says the same thing, so it could be the same link. I'll just double check, but it should be tonight if any of you want to join that.
Okay, thank you, Rob.
Yeah.
Can I share
Thank
that
you very
in the
much.
innovations for the future?
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
okay.
open. It's open.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I believe it is. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.